Sitting atop the Watchtower in Gotham City, the Nerdy Knights are here to bring you some great comic book content. I am one of your hosts. Some call me Snarky, some call me a friendly neighborhood superhero, but you can call me Ben, the ridiculous critic. And my wonderful co-host has a gift for science and likes the color pink. From San Francisco, Honey Lemon. I mean, Anna, the not so critic. Would have been cooler if we had Honey Lemon. Just saying.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I think I'm pretty good.
Yeah. Fine, whatever, Anna. Guys, we have a great show for you tonight because we are talking about Wonder Woman Hiketeia, which is how I'm saying it. But before we get into that, let's talk about our active poll list. Anna, what comics are you reading?
Still the same two, but I have started rereading House of M, which we're doing later, so I probably shouldn't. But it's my favorite.
It's one of those like classic books that you can't not read. If you get the itch for it, you go and you read it because it's great comic book content.
It's my absolute favorite in the Marvel universe, at the very least.
Oh, gotcha. Like as far as big crossover stories goes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I was telling Mom about it earlier.
Gotcha. And then I've been trying to catch up on Fables because I read a bunch and then I stopped reading it and then I really wanted to actually finish because I love Fables. It's kind of great. So yeah, that's what I'm reading. So let's talk about Wonder Woman Hiketeia. I might be saying it different every time I say it. This one is written by actually one of my favorite comic book writers, Greg Rucka. He is the same writer who has been doing the New 52 Batman story arc. And I love his stories and I love his writing style. And he is joined by artist J.G. Jones. Try to say his name 5 times fast. J.G. Jones, J.G. Jones, J.G. Jones, J.G. Jones. I guess it wasn't that hard. But you know what? And I'm going to preface this by saying this is the first Wonder Woman story arc that I have ever actually finished.
It's the only one that I wasn't mad about while reading.
Yeah. Oh, so you've read other Wonder Woman. So real quick, the story of Wonder Woman Hiketeia is kind of, it's a Greek tragedy. Kind of like the story is a Greek tragedy kind of scenario. Because as you may or may not know, the lore of Wonder Woman is heavily backed in Greek mythology. Like all of those gods are real, and Wonder Woman is a daughter of Zeus. So this term Hiketeia is kind of an ancient ritual that people will do to kind of submit themselves to another human being, and by doing so, the person who asks for Hiketeia becomes the other person's kind of, I don't want to say slave.
Supplicant is the word they use.
Supplicant is the word that they use. Where essentially this person has the protection of from the person that they have supplicated them to, but they have to do everything for that person that they ask, and they cannot back down. And essentially, throughout this whole story, the Furies are following around Wonder Woman, thinking that she is going to break the oath of Hiketeia and turn over this woman, who is named Danielle, and she has essentially killed a bunch of men and Batman is looking for Danielle, which is why Danielle goes to Wonder Woman and, kind of asks this of Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman accepts, which puts Wonder Woman in a battle with Batman for pretty much the entire length of the book, because they're caught in a no-win situation, because Wonder Woman can't break the sacred oath of Hiketeia, but she also doesn't necessarily want to see that justice hasn't been done. Something that you do later find, because Wonder Woman does not ask Danielle why Batman is hunting her, but something that you do find out is that Danielle's sister was kind of... She was kidnapped, she was addicted to drugs and raped and all that, fun stuff.
It was taken in comic book
yes,
style.
it was taken in comic book style. Except poor Danielle's father was not Liam Neeson. And that's kind of how she became a fugitive, because she went and she killed all of the sex slavers and drug dealers who had a hand in murdering her sister. And, Batman is all against that. So in the end, there's just this huge all-out brawl between Wonder Woman and Batman, and Danielle feels terrible, so she starts climbing up this cliff face and then jumps off. And Wonder Woman, stuck in this battle with Batman, doesn't have time to go and save her. So essentially, as she's falling, what she is worried about is that she is breaking her oath, because she is supposed to protect her supplicant. And if her supplicant dies, the Furies are going to be after her, and who wants a Greek god, pissed off at them? Because I sure as hell don't. Or should I say, I sure as Hades don't. But as soon as she kind of hits the ground with her last dying breath, she releases Diana, or Wonder Woman, from this oath. And that's kind of the end of the story. It's a short one, but Anna, let me start with you, because you don't like Wonder Woman.
No.
And I don't blame you, because she's kind of a dumb character, in my personal opinion. Like, I understand that there are people that like her and look up to her and all that sort of stuff. That's great. But I don't see her as a character that stands by herself well, in comic book form. Like, again, it's kind of like when we were talking about Daredevil. I enjoy Wonder Woman when it's a Justice League comic, or the Trinity comics, where it's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Like, those are Wonder Woman stories that I can palate a lot more. So how did you feel about the story on this one, Anna?
I didn't mind it, and I didn't mind the comic overall, and it's mainly, I think, because the story wasn't focused on Wonder Woman and the political figure that she really is in every comic. Not necessarily of, like, she's a princess, so she's a political figure, but in the sense...
Because she's the ambassador to Themyscira, right?
Yeah, but not necessarily, like, she was created as a political movement, and because of that, I've never liked Wonder Woman, which makes me sound like an anti-feminist.
I was about to say, Anna Riddick, anti-feminist.
And it's she's an extremist to that point, and it makes her character less desirable to me when they make the issues blatant to modern issues, in that sense, where she's just an annoying character who focuses way too heavily on feminism, which
I get what you're saying.
Isn't what you get from this comic, which is what I really enjoyed about it.
Yeah, like, she is very regularly portrayed, like, in a very black and white sense. She is the extreme version of a feminist, essentially. Like, she is a feminist superhero. That's kind of what she is, and that's not what she comes across as here. She's not, at no point in this book are we looking at it and saying, oh, you're great because you're a woman and a superhero. It's, you are a superhero. They're on the same level, which is what feminism should be about, is everyone being on the same level instead of one trying to place themselves above the other. So I do agree. I think they do that. I think they portray the character of Wonder Woman very well, and
how she should always be portrayed.
And I think that is because of Greg Rucka. Like, that guy is a fantastic author when it comes to comic books, because in this specific sense, he made me care about a character that I could usually care less about.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the character of Danielle?
I find her very interesting in the sense where the first time you see her is running away from Batman.
Yep.
And the next time you see her, she is begging Wonder Woman not only for her aid, but also begging her to ask her why she wanted this, because she never wants to lie.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have this initial image where she's a bad guy, for lack of a better word to describe
she's looking to repent for what she's done with Wonder Woman. Like that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, and her character development in just this issue, because it's the only time you're ever going to see her.
Yep.
I felt was really strong.
Yeah, I think for a one-off character that they introduced and then killed off within a couple of issues, I thought it was great. One of the things that I love, one of the things that always interests me about Wonder Woman is the aspect of the Greek mythology in it, because I love Greek mythology and the lore of Greek mythology. So it's like, I want to really like Wonder Woman, because I would love to read a comic that has a lot of that ingrained in it. So it's something that I loved about the beginning of the book, where they're showing the scenes from ancient Greece of people performing the oath of Hiketeia, and the Furies kind of chasing them if the supplicant is harmed while under the oath of Hiketeia. I thought that was really cool, and of course, one of my other favorite characters in comic books was also in this one, and that's Batman, because who doesn't really like Batman? And I thought they did the relationship between Batman and Wonder Woman really well. Like, they showed off the fact that that Batman is kind of the outcast as far as the Justice League goes. He's still a founding member, but really he wants to work by himself. And it's really interesting, especially in that first visit where he's trying to get Danielle, and they get into that first fight, where she eventually she knocks him down. Like, it's a big scene. Like, she punches him off of her balcony
and across the street.
Like, that was a pretty intense scene. What did you think of Batman being in this one?
I really liked it, and opposed to last week's one where you saw him as
an asshole.
Yes, you definitely saw his more caring side, even when dealing with people that he disagrees with. Because, I mean, he is worried about Danielle when he takes her, and then she eventually takes off her jacket and falls into the river, type of thing.
Yeah.
And you see that he doesn't want any harm necessarily to come to her. So I liked him in this.
Yeah. And you know what? I was worried when reading it, knowing that Batman was going to be a huge part of it. I was worried that he would kind of overshadow, you know,
Right.
the Wonder Woman aspect of it. And I mean, he doesn't. And I think one of my favorite scenes is the second time that they fight. You know, Batman's done his research on what's going on. And the second time that they fight, he is on the ground and he goes through the oath of Hiketeia, you know, trying to supplicate himself to Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
You know, thinking that would work. So it's something you learn to appreciate the relationship specifically between Batman and Wonder Woman, as opposed to just looking at one side of it. What was your favorite part of the book, Anna?
It was very short. That's not my favorite part about it, but it was very short, and I liked when Danielle kind of ran away, because the entire time I was yelling at the comic book, being like, anything happens to you, you just screwed over your favorite person.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. How about your favorite art panel?
I really liked, okay. I really enjoyed the part where Danielle starts telling
the story, kind of.
The color change between that and the emotion that you see in Danielle, even for being a comic book and more of a cartoon style, you can still see and feel the emotion that she's kind of portraying. But there's also another panel where at the end where Wonder Woman is fighting Batman, where she's kind of standing on his head.
Uh-huh.
And that was more empowering in the sense where this comic isn't highlighting so strongly on the feminist part of it.
Uh-huh.
That was still a very tasteful feminist act and feminist panel that I really enjoyed.
And I have to say, I mean, my two favorite images are essentially the ones where Batman's getting the shit kicked out of him. So yeah, I love the cover of this book, where you see the cowl of Batman and, you know, Bruce Wayne, of course, in the cowl, and just Wonder Woman's boot on his head. So I thought, you know, that whole thing was just fantastic. Overall, how did you feel about the art?
I liked it. I mean, it was very classic.
Yeah. It's kind of the opposite of the last two books.
Yeah.
Like the last two books we've read have had the old style comic book art, and this is the new. This is the Pixar comic book art, as you referred to it.
Right.
I thought they did a great job, and you know, I'm so used to reading like Batman that I'm just so used to everything being so dark. So having so many scenes that were so bright was really nice, and I thought they just did a great job.
I enjoyed also the incorporation, how they incorporated the back of all the panels, so the overall page, to have its own image in some of them, yeah. So some of them had the Furies in the back when they had introduced
Hiketeia.
That. Yep. So I enjoyed that part too a lot. That was very cool and playful.
Absolutely, I agree. So I guess the big question comes in: is this a good standalone Wonder Woman story?
I think it's a good standalone Wonder Woman story.
Okay.
I don't think it plays a big part in really Wonder Woman as a whole.
Right. Do you think someone who doesn't know Wonder Woman would get lost reading this story? I personally like. I don't think they would. I think everything that needs to be explained is explained really well, especially in the little ancient Greece flashbacks to describe Hiketeia. And I feel like you can catch on pretty quickly that even though she's an Amazonian, the level of Greek mythology is something that people would catch on to really quickly.
I agree. I think, though, depending on like how not knowing someone is about Wonder Woman, no Wonder Woman comic would ever be necessarily a good start. Like if they don't know what I can't pronounce half the freaking things in the Wonder Woman comics, but where she's from, if they don't know, they don't know that, then they're going to be lost regardless.
Yeah.
But,
okay. So this is a good standalone Wonder Woman story, but there's not really going to be a great Wonder Woman story if you know nothing about Wonder Woman.
Right.
So yeah, I can back you up on that one. I do think, like, as far as Wonder Woman books go, I am not upset that I read this book at all.
No.
I would recommend it to anyone that asked me what Wonder Woman book they should read. So let's get on to our rating of the book. We have three grades. We have go out and buy it, wait for it to go on sale, or be free on Free Comic Book Day, or just pass. Anna, where do you grade this one?
Free on Comic Book Day.
Free on Comic Book Day. Okay. Yeah, no, I could get that. Do you think you put that grade on it just for the sheer sense of you don't like Wonder Woman that much?
I don't like Wonder Woman that much, but I honestly think that if someone really wants to get into a Wonder Woman comic, this isn't really the one to do, just because where do you go from this one?
Okay. I gotcha. I'm going, I was leaning towards the go out and buy it, but you kind of convinced me with there's not really a good place to start with Wonder Woman. And I feel like this is a book. I would get it if it's on sale, or if you can find it, for, less than $10. I would absolutely recommend getting it, but beyond that and at its normal price of like $15-20, I'd probably pass on it until it's cheaper. If you really want to get into Wonder Woman, I recommend reading Justice League. Because I think that'll be a better start into that mythos. All right. So guys, next week we are going to be reading Batman: The Dark Knight Strikes Again, the sequel to last week's comic book, The Dark Knight Returns. So be sure to catch us then. But if you can't wait until that, you can find more Nerdy Nights content at www.nkrn.org. You can find myself, Mike DeMarco, and Sam Chen on our weekly nerd culture podcast, Nerdy Nights Radio. It's live on Monday at 7:30. You can watch it at nkrn.org/Twitch. And of course, you can also find Mike's Let's Play podcast on our YouTube channel and website. Him and I are currently playing through Final Fantasy VII, and because I've never played it, and it's kind of, you're gonna have to go watch some episodes to see how I'm liking it. So be sure to like, subscribe. Leave us some comments letting us know what you thought of Wonder Woman Hiketeia. And, even better, leave some comments on some books you would like us to do for Nightly Novels, our comic book club podcast. Of course, guys, you can always follow me on Twitter. I am at BRidiculous. That's BRIDDICKULOUS. So, guys, until next week, Excelsior.